You are one small step from the whole thing. Right now, this morning, the work you have been circling for days is exactly one action away from beginning. Not the finishing, the beginning. And yet you are still here at the edge of it, running the math, checking the weather of your own motivation, waiting for the version of you who feels ready to arrive and take the step for you. That version is not coming. He never comes before the step. He shows up after. This is about the gap between you and the first move and how small that gap actually is. The journey of 1,000 miles is not an epic you have to be worthy of this morning. It is just the next action taken now, before the mind has time to negotiate it away. 2,500 years ago in China, Lao Tzu wrote down one line that has outlived every empire that came after him. In the old translation that comes down to us, he put it this way: "The tree which fills the arms grew from the tiniest sprout. The tower of 9 stories rose from a small heap of earth. The journey of 1,000 li commenced with a single step." Read it slowly, because most people only remember the last clause and miss what holds it up. The huge tree, the tall tower, the long road, every one of them begins with something almost embarrassingly small: a sprout, a handful of earth, one step. We get this backwards. We look at the 1,000 miles and feel the weight of the whole distance pressing down before we have moved an inch. We treat the size of the goal as the size of the first action, and then we are paralyzed, because of course we are. Nobody can lift a tower, but anyone can carry one small heap of earth. The discipline was never in spanning the distance in a single heroic leap. The discipline is in the single step, taken on a morning exactly like this one when you did not feel like it. The size of the step is a trap. The mind loves to inflate the first action until it is too big to start, because a step too big to take is a step you are excused from taking. So you make it small, not the whole project. The first paragraph, not the hard conversation. The first sentence you will say, not the strategy. The single document open on the screen. You make the first action so small that refusing it would be absurd, and then refusing is no longer an option. There is an old answer to the obvious objection, which is that one small step feels too small to matter. Aristotle dismantled that objection long before anyone phrased it. He noticed that we do not become skilled and then act. We become skilled by acting. In the old translation, he wrote that men become builders by building and lyre players by playing the lyre. So too we become just by doing just acts, temperate by doing temperate acts, brave by doing brave acts. You do not become a disciplined person and then perform disciplined acts. You become disciplined by doing one disciplined act now. The single step is not a down payment on the person you will be. It is the person you are being in the only moment you ever actually get. So the whole question collapses into a smaller one. Not how do I cross the 1,000 miles, just will I take the next step, and will I take it before I talk myself out of it? Because that is where most steps die. Not in the doing, which is usually easier than feared, but in the half-second of hesitation that gives the mind its opening. Mel Robbins built a whole method around closing that half-second. The idea in plain terms is that the instant you feel the instinct to move, you do not let it sit. You count backward. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And on 1 you move before the brain has assembled its case for waiting. The countdown is not magic. It is a way of starting the action before the negotiation can start. It takes the decision out of the part of you that bargains and hands it to the part of you that simply does. Lao Tzu names the step. Aristotle says the step is what makes you, and the countdown is just the trick that gets your body to take it before your mind objects. Notice what loosens when the first step becomes the whole strategy. You stop waiting to feel ready. Readiness was always the wrong thing to wait for, because it arrives on the far side of beginning, never the near side. The disciplined professional does not start the hard task because the morning finally felt right. They start because they took one small step while it still felt wrong, and the feeling caught up afterward. You stop confusing the size of the goal with the size of the start. The 1,000 miles is real, but you do not begin it by being equal to 1,000 miles. You begin it by being equal to one step, which you already are. The tower is heavy. The first heap of earth is not. Carry the heap. And you stop letting hesitation make the decision for you. The 5 seconds before you move are the only contested ground in the whole day. Win those 5 seconds with a countdown or a single small action you cannot refuse, and the rest of the work tends to follow, because a thing in motion argues less than a thing at rest. You did not need to feel like a builder. You needed to lay one brick, so lay it. So take the step now, before the mind builds its case against it. I do not wait to feel ready. I take one small step and let the feeling follow. I make the first action so small that refusing it would be absurd. I win the 5 seconds before I move, and then I move. I become disciplined by doing one disciplined act, not by planning 100. I carry the first heap of earth and let the tower take care of itself. I treat the size of the step, not the size of the goal, as my whole job this hour. I begin the journey of 1,000 miles with the single step in front of me. That is the whole thing, not the 1,000 miles, the one step taken now. If this got you moving, stay with this channel. Every morning, one disciplined hour to begin before the mind can talk you out of it. And tonight, the same day's quieter end when the discipline turns inward and becomes rest. Tonight, in rest is given, not earned, we sit with the old wisdom of Psalm 127, which says your bread of anxious toil was never the point, and with modern voices like the sleep scientist Matthew Walker and the investor Naval Ravikant, who tells the ambitious to stop trying to earn their sleep. You take the first step this morning. You set it down tonight. Come back this evening to learn that rest, too, is a discipline. Begin disciplined, end reflective. Now go take it, go.